Hi everyone and welcome back to the Creative Conversation. Today is a very special episode and I'm so excited for this. Today's guest is Kay, founder of Kay Meach Artistry. Kay is a salon owner, makeup and brow artist in Dundee. In 2015, Kay was actually my supervisor in Debenhams on the visual team. So I have worked with Kay for a very long time, but for the past, it'll be nearly 8 years this year. Yeah, I've worked with her with Green Creative.
So
It'll be 7 years, but I've been 6 years in business and you worked with me before that.
yeah.
So I have had a front row seat to how Kay's business has evolved from the start. I've managed her socials, but also helped her with lots of different things over the years. And I know exactly how her creativity works, where her focus and attention to detail is, and how she runs her business day to day. Kay's journey is a really good example of what it looks like to build a creative business that's both successful but and deeply personal to her. In this episode, we talk about her path into the industry, how she's grown her brand over time, and how understanding how her brain works has made her create a business that supports her, not the other way around. So if you're creative, self-employed, or trying to build a business that works with your brain rather than against it, you're going to get a lot from this conversation. So, quick opener, just to get you into the swing of it.
Yes, I'm nervous.
What did you want to be when you were younger?
Not an adult, anyway. No, I know everybody says this, but I bet everybody says this.
That's what I said on my
Is
episode.
it? Yeah, it is actually. I think that's why I'm like, didn't want to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bet. But no, I don't know. Like, I felt like I was quite airy-fairy when I was younger and never really thought that far ahead. But I just loved all things arts and crafts and animals and makeup. So yeah, the fact that I've ended up doing this hasn't been a shock, but it was never what I intended it to be. I didn't know that this could be a job.
Yeah.
So people that know me from very young aren't surprised that this is what I've ended up doing.
I suppose when you were young though, I mean there would have been makeup artists, but
Yeah, but
not
only
to the
rich people
scale,
got them.
yeah, that
I
is
mean,
now.
to be fair, you need to be rich to get a makeup artist now too.
Yeah, but it would have just been like makeup to the stars.
Yeah, like celebrities and stuff like that. Even getting them for weddings wasn't a thing when I was younger.
No.
Which was a long time ago.
Did you ever think you'd have your own business?
Not a chance, no.
Okay, interesting. What's your coffee order?
Sugar-free caramel oat milk latte.
That's mine too.
I stand for it. Depends on the season.
Or I'm an almond milk girl as well. Most used emoji on your brands.
100% sparkle emoji. We're glowing. Darling, look how much you glow.
Yeah, that is Kay Meach an emoji.
Yeah.
Oh, sparkles.
The sparkles wherever we go.
Yes. Okay, so if you've listened to this podcast, this questions are pretty similar for each guest just because one, I'm finding my feet and I just want to hear, everyone obviously has different answers, so I want to hear everyone's stories. However, I have changed the questions slightly for Kay's episode and we're going to kick off now with why. Do you want to tell everyone what you've recently been diagnosed with?
Recently, at the lovely age of 35, I have been diagnosed with combined type ADHD and suspected level 1 autism.
Okay. So, I've obviously worked with Kay for, like I said, a long time, and I know how her brain works, and now a lot of the things make sense. So, we want to share the story in a positive light of how the way Kay thinks is probably the reason she is the businesswoman she is today. So, do you want to maybe we start with, before we go into like the back story, how did you get to the point of getting your diagnosis?
Burnout, health was terrible, and I was just trying to make everything better. That's something that really drives me, is I always try and find a solution for something. And I was doing all the things that I was supposed to be doing, or so the textbooks or society says, and I was just burning out and not getting anywhere. So I knew there was more to it, and I was looking up cortisol, like all the stress stuff, and that was there. But I didn't know what was causing that, because in a past life, that sort of level of stress would have made sense.
Mm-hmm.
I say in a past life, in one of my past lives, that sort of stress level would have made sense. But I've created a life that's so much more calm and fulfilling that I shouldn't be feeling like that, and I was still feeling like that. So I had to really dive deep, and I did a bit of meditation and just a bit of journaling and things like that. And I could feel that there was this total barrier, but I didn't know what it was. I was so self-aware, but so unaware of what was happening. And I got to a point where I come across, I know people say like online videos and stuff about these topics. They're not a real insight onto what it actually is, and that there is an element of that's true, but it made me, it resonated with me. Now, there's always been a bit of a niggle in the back of my mind for years, but I had that idea of everyone's got a bit of that in them, right? So that I sat with that for a bit, and then it started to get louder and louder, and then I was at this breaking point, but didn't quite put two and two together until I watched that video and thought, oh. And then I thought, I don't do all that, so that isn't me. And then I went about my day and learned that actually I did do those things, because the things that I wasn't aware of that I was doing was a subconscious thing. And then I would like just forgetting what I'm saying, loads of different things. It's so hard to put into words, but just my emotions, like everyone that knows me knows that I am a highly emotional girl. I can go from crying to raging in a split second and vice versa. So obviously there's more to it than that, but now I forgot why you asked me that question.
No, it was just,
Like I went on a tangent and now I'm like, where were we?
yeah. It was just, obviously we've said about your diagnosis, so like how did you think to get the diagnosis?
Yeah, okay, so I'm back there. Yeah, I had breaking point, and I have a son, and I was trying to sort out my health for him. I was trying to get my head right for him, because I wanted to be just better in myself, but it started with being better for him. And then I come across that and started doing more research, then learning that actually I was doing the things that I didn't think I was doing. Like I didn't believe it either. I didn't know that someone of my age or being female that can happen. I was part of the problem of the stigma. But that was 3 years ago, and even then, like it's come so far in 3 years with the knowledge that's out there now. That's why I felt like that. But yeah, and then that led me to going to the GP about my health and brain, and I couldn't separate what was causing what. And then they spoke to me about self-referral, because I said, could I have this? And they said, here's the self-referral form, fill it out and we'll see. And I think it's an 18-page tick box, and I ticked 16 out of the 18. But now that I know what I know now, I actually would fully tick the 18.
Yeah.
Now that I understand what those questions mean, because I could struggle to understand what the questions are and how do I apply that to my life, because in my head I'm good. Like I'm good. This is normal. This is how everybody thinks, right? I don't know any different. And
I think I obviously, because I work with Kay so closely, helped with a little bit of your diagnosis, like after like an assessment form, and I don't think they actually worded it that
great. No.
So even it was hard for me to be like, I
this
don't
is the
actually
issue.
know.
Like even the diagnostic criteria and the way it's done isn't serving properly for what's needed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can definitely see there's a problem.
Yeah. So it's like that's why it's so important to have a face-to-face, more than one appointment, because a self-assessment form and an online call just you're not going to catch it, because the diagnostic criteria and the stuff that they use to diagnose isn't up to scratch yet. Some people aren't. It just depends who you go to. But yeah, that led me to, once I figured that out, my whole life turned upside down, because I felt like I was going through a bit of an identity crisis. Meanwhile, doing eyebrows and weddings and pretending nothing's happening, as you do, but my work actually keeps me going. But yeah, it turned everything upside down a bit, and I completely lost who I was. I couldn't understand if I was faking everything, if my friends were my friends because I wanted them to be, or because I was pretending. Masking is the term that they use, but it's not a conscious decision. It's something that it's a learned behaviour from a young age. You don't choose to do that. So looking at everyone around me, I was questioning, are they in my life because of who I am or because of who I pretend to be? And I don't even know who that is yet. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it was heavy for a long time, a good 18 months. And the diagnostic for diagnosis, speaking to GP and getting diagnosed when I went, it was a 5-year wait, and that was 3 years ago, and now they've shut the whole thing down because it's too much. They can't handle the amount of people that are going. And I understand that a lot of people think that there is an over-diagnosis of it, but that isn't the case. It's just massively under-diagnosed in females. Like, there's a whole generation of females, a couple of generations that are being missed.
Yeah.
It could also be other things. A lot of people like to say childhood trauma. And I have a little bit of that too. But
I think that's something that maybe would have stopped you actually thinking this is what it was.
Yeah.
Because you felt, well, it's probably
everyone
like
around me knew that I was a bit unhinged in certain ways or did things a bit differently, and we all just thought it was because of the past. And that is true. There's an element of that that's true, but I can almost compartmentalise, or I can tell the difference when that shows up and when the ADHD shows up and the autism shows up. And like, I can, now that I understand it all, I can see it, what triggers what and how I show up that day and what's causing me to be driven that day, if it's the ADHD or if it's the trauma or if it's the autism. Like, they all play their part very differently, and it's so hard to put into text or to like vocalize. Like, it's so hard to explain what the internal stuff's like.
Okay, so let's focus on how you got here. So before your business, what was work like for you? Like, how did you find traditional roles?
I was always very driven, very all or nothing, so I gave everything, even though I hated people that I went for, because that's all I know. I only know to do 100% or try to, because it's like I seek approval, like validation. I want them to like me. I want them to think that I've done a good job.
Were you like that in school?
I was like that with everything, like even relationships, which is sad. Think about things. It is sad, but it gave me a bit of tough skin, I'm not going to lie, because when I learned that people can be assholes, I thought, like, well, I'm going to be one too. I'm going to be exactly who you think I am.
Yeah.
And I worked up. So a lot of the jobs that I've had, like, I was a supervisor. Do you remember Mark 1? Oh my God. You'll not know either, Amy. Mark 1 is a retail shop in the Railgate. Used to be next to New Look.
I remember
MK.
Is it a black and white logo?
It's a blue.
Oh, no.
It was navy logo. Anyway, I started working there when I was 16 as a skills seeker, which I was getting paid something like £2.50 an hour for 32 hours a week. Yeah. But I was desperate for a job because I needed freedom to live my own life. So I did it. I was crying, my feet were nuts, but I did it. And I did that for a year, and I did like qualifications to do with retail and security and all that sort of stuff. And at the end of that, I was only like 17, not even 18. They gave me a job, a full-time position, and then asked me to be supervisor. So I think I got paid like 10 pence more or something like that. But I have memories because I remember feeling like the pure best because, they let me open the store on my own on a Sunday. Clearly, they were all not wanting to work, but I was like, yes, I can do this. So the fact that they trusted me with that, I was like, I'm going to show you, like, I'm not going to let you down. And I ended up working my way up there. Then I moved to it. And I worked as a part-time staff member there. And then sort of department manager position came up out with New Look, but I was based in New Look.
One of the concessions.
Yes. Yeah. So I thought, I'm going to go for that. Because it was like a supervisor. You did manage your stuff, but you're not a manager of a store. But I got bored. And I also don't do well working under people like that I was working under, I'm not going to lie. Like, some retail managers can be difficult just for no reason. So, I mean, I was young, so I probably did chat back, but I only give what I get. Do you know what I mean? Like, respect for me worked both ways, because I didn't understand that you're not supposed to do that. Yeah. So if you speak to me like shit, I'm going to speak to you like shit. Who are you talking to? Don't take it from my own mum, so why would I take it from you? That's what I used to think.
And I guess, so now you know what you know now, do you recognise a lot of those traits being related to, like, ADHD and stuff? Yeah, because I didn't understand that you weren't supposed to do that, so I would get pulled in for meetings constantly. I would get told that my attitude stinks, that I'm not a team player, and I'm like, I am so all of those things. I don't work hard enough, and I am such a grafter because I believe in what I'm doing. Like, I only know to do it 100%. I don't know
to not do it that way,
Yeah.
which can contradict ADHD a bit. I understand that, because ADHD, you find it hard to start or kind of finish a task, but when you've got a little bit of the other one, you can't stop until it's done perfectly.
Yeah.
So when someone's watching you or you're looking for validation, that'll drive you to make sure it's done 110%. And then I'm never given the credit or the thanks or like just respect. It's almost like every single, there was one manager, the Mark 1 manager, she is still a huge person that I think about all the time that really influenced me on how to be a good person. And then it all went to shit from there. Like the managers after that really taught me how to be fair and what not to do when it comes to talking to people or treating people if you want to get the best out of them. Because not everyone's going to be like me and just want to seek validation even from people like that.
So New Look, then you went to Debenhams.
So I took that. I didn't get on well with the manager and there's so many horror stories there, but we'll not go into that. And Debenhams opened up the concession that I worked for. So they transferred me there, but then I overseen New Look and Dorothy Perkins. And there was like M & Co and Blair Gilvey. So I become like what they like to call a town manager. But you don't get paid for that stuff. But I liked it because I was bored in the shop. Like, I got everything done to the standard that it needed to be done. You would get audits and you would get like store visits. Everything, mine was always perfect. Of course it was. So I got bored. And that's why I wanted to go and then make sure everyone else was doing that. Working with more store managers that found me difficult, even though I wasn't trying to be difficult. I was just trying to be fair. But when you go in young to someone who's been doing that for a long time and that's their environment, I understand that you can ruffle some feathers, but I didn't understand that at the time. I know that now as an adult, but I didn't understand that at the time. I was just doing my job.
And sometimes you need life experience to like approach situations.
I don't regret the way I handled it. I don't realise that not everyone operates the same way.
No.
And has the same level of understanding. So there was a lot of friction.
So where did the idea for your business come?
Well, I worked in Debenhams, like I said, and then I ended up working for Debenhams, doing the visual team. I was supervisor of the visual team, which the job I loved. The management, not so much. There's a pattern here, do you see it? But I was grateful. Like, that was good to work for or work with, right? I mean, I tried not to be an artist. Anyway, I can be one without trying sometimes, apparently, so.
No, I wouldn't say you were an artist. You were very much, not to us, but you would stick up.
Direct.
Yeah, you would be direct, but you would stick up for us to above.
Yeah, because you're my team.
Yeah, so you would be like, I'm not doing that, or you're doing that, or whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, so I had a huge turning point in my life where me and my then boyfriend bought a house together, and it was like a house that I never ever thought that I would ever get. So this kind of unlocked all this future thought for me, and I really wanted to have a kid. So within a year of us having that house, I fell pregnant. And they were already difficult with me in Debenhams. And I fell pregnant and had him on Black Friday weekend. So I started to think, I'm never going to get his birthday off. I'm never going to get it off. But in the background of all this, I was trialing out doing my makeup. Just playing about doing makeup because I've always loved makeup. I've always been the girl that, even at the under 18s, people would come to the studio my eyeliner. Now, I would hate to see what it looked like, but you know, the blue eyeshadow era, I was helping them, okay? But I started that in the flat, then we moved over to the house, and I had this dressing room, and I started to do, like, people would message me, could you do my makeup? And I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
I remember when I was leaving Debenhams, we went out for drinks.
I have a photo of that now.
I know, I love that photo. I'm so
You look so good.
But Rachel went to yours and you did each other's
I have photos of
makeup.
that too. Yeah, I have photos of that too. I was doing makeup in the background, and then people started messaging me, and then I don't know what came over me because I'm not that brave these days, I would say. But I was like, yeah, I just thought, sweet bit extra money, is that? And I was charging like 20 quid, £25 for the makeup, and I was doing And they were in my flat at first, and I remember, do you remember the glossy box? I
Mm-hmm.
used to get the glossy box subscription. So I would have now all these separate glossy boxes with face, eyes.
Well, that was your kit?
Yeah. I've got a photo of that somewhere too.
Love that.
It's like lay on my bed in my house, like my one bed house, lay on my bed, and I thought this was great. And I was like, right, well, if I'm doing people's faces, I'll need to go and get foundation. So I went to all the counter house and Devon, I'm like, can I get testers of all these colours? And was doing everything from a tester. Not sure, not nothing, like, great. But it kind of escalated from there. I was doing makeup heavily pregnant in my dressing room. And when I was pregnant and on maternity leave, I knew I didn't want to go back to Devon's. I knew that this was my opportunity to have free time to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I need to try and build this. And an opportunity came up I had him in the November. And then by the February, an opportunity came up to work in a studio within Dundee, somebody who was well known. And it felt so right that it really made me nervous. I was like, I need to do this, but I'm so scared. And I didn't know if you were allowed to do that and be on maternity leave. But because it only got statutory pay, you can be self-employed whilst employed on maternity leave, but you can't do it the other way around.
Right, okay, yeah.
We can go and get a job to cover the costs, but they can. But so when I figured that out, like I phoned HR and everything, and then I went into her with a cover letter of why I was like, she's not saying no. Like, here's my work, here's a cover letter why you should accept me, and I'm not going to wait, because it was like, I need to try, yeah. So from the February to the September, I worked in that studio and built a client base. And that summer, summer I trained in brows as well. I went and trained with Brow Jam. I went back to Debenhams. There was a whole saga, but we'll not go into that. I went back to Debenhams and I lasted something like 4 shifts before I told her I'm not coming back. I was like, shiver, I'm not coming back. I was like, I notice I'll be on my holidays. Okay. That's it. Because we tried to work it out and it didn't work.
Do you feel like you'd built the business up enough to just do that? No, you just did it. Okay.
No. The manager at the time, was trying to work me up. And that's what a lot I feel in past jobs. They never sacked me or disciplined me, but they worked me out. You could see there's clear evidence, and I didn't realise what that was until now. When I look at everything, I think, oh God, I just thought this happened to everybody. But no, so she kind of was like, not going to give me Saturdays off to do this, because I asked, can I work during the week? Because Visual never used to work Saturdays, so I didn't think it would be an issue. And then she pulled a meeting and said, you all need to work a Saturday. And I was just like, and then somebody made a complaint about my attitude on my first day or something like that. And I was just like, it sounds so bad when I say this out loud, because it sounds like there's a pattern, but it was more just, my man spoke to me like a bit of shit on my first day, and I was like, nah, who are you speaking at? Yeah. And when you have a kid, it changes everything, like the way I just think.
Because you're giving up time with your child to be there. Yeah,
my time became
and
so
obviously
valuable.
You need to be paid, but to live.
That day I left and booked a lashless course with Sally's, and it was terrible.
I didn't remember. I know you'd obviously do lash lifts, but I didn't realise it was that early on.
That early on, because I thought, I've got to make this work.
Yeah.
And then I thought, so I've got to cover my rent with where I was working, like where I was renting my chair. So I made a deal with her that I kind of the studio and stuff and got like a day free. I helped out with writing lesson plans and stuff like that for her students, and just did my bit until I built up enough. I knew I had to make what I was making in Debenhams, and I'm already making what I was supposed to make full time as a supervisor in Debenhams at that point. So it was just keeping it consistent enough. Like, I had a child and a mortgage now, so it was so scary, but doing that made me so driven to make sure it has to work. There's no option.
Do you think like the ADHD suited you better being self-employed?
Yeah, the flexibility. And the only thing I would say that I struggle with is accountability. But the flexibility of being like, I'm supposed to do this today, but not feeling up to it today. Okay, we'll move it to tomorrow. The flexibility of not being stuck in a salon for opening times and things like that. Like, when we opened KR Makeup, we didn't do it the traditional way where it was a salon opening times. We did it by appointment only, because we knew we'll be coming and going, and we didn't want to be in when no one was there.
Yeah.
So doing it that way meant that I wasn't stuck to a structure of time, which is a blessing and a curse at the same time. So I would take work anytime. I could be working from 6 a.m. to 9 o'clock at night. Because you just say yes to everything. I was saying yes to everything. I was building it. There was a point that Mason was always artisana's, but I was just really trying to build it. And I feel like the part where ADHD comes into it for me is the self-belief, because I'm taking action, but I don't believe I should be. There's almost like an imposter syndrome with that. And I could still get that to this day. It's like, you'll see my confidence comes in waves, and it's like I'm so meant to be here, and then I'm like, no. But it's, my brain can really cause havoc on my self-esteem in the way and what I feel like I'm capable of, because I know the struggle. I know I'm struggling, but no one else does.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it knocks my confidence, because I'm looking at everyone else thinking, you do that so easy. And, you know, I'm working alongside someone who does things and it works like that, and it doesn't work as fast for me. And I've never realised that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I would say it's a blessing and a curse, because you almost get this drive to prove people wrong if they've doubted you. So I don't really care about what anyone else thinks, but I think I was trying to prove myself wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I thought that I was so incapable. I believed that through the years of being led to believe that.
Yeah, I think your upbringing's probably got...
Yeah. And like
to do with that.
experiences after that,
And
there's a
work
lot
and
of
stuff as
things
well.
that happened after that. There was a lot of patterns of the same type of people, but yeah.
Okay, so your ADHD diagnosis,
That'll be a bit hard, I think.
when were you diagnosed officially?
If I'm going by NHS, I'm still on their wait list.
Okay.
3 years in. But I couldn't take it anymore, because I felt like it was just taking over my life, and it was consuming me. And it still is, but I'm processing it all. And I was seeking validation in every corner that I could find it, and you won't get it, even if this is where you most expect it. So I needed to do it for myself. The internal battle was killing me. And
Is that why you decided to go private?
That's why I went private, because what's money when it comes to how you're
Peace of
feeling?
mind, yeah.
And it was having a physical effect on me. You were able to see that I was struggling, like physically. And what I mean by that is like weight, puffiness, like all that sort of stuff. Like, you can see I was uncomfortable. And then I had the mental aspect of dealing with that on top of it all. So I just needed to catch a break, and I thought, it's not going to give us all the answers, and I'm not doing it for anybody else. I was just doing it for my internal dialogue, basically, of how I talk to myself, because just watched a video today that was like the first step to getting better is understanding yourself, like self-acceptance, that sort of stuff. And the way I used to talk to myself was not good. Not good. So I had to do it. It wasn't really a choice, or it wasn't about money or anything like that. Like, it got to a point where it was invaluable, so
it didn't matter what cost.
We had to do it.
How did you feel when you got the diagnosis?
Weird as fuck, because nothing changes, but everything changes. Just so weird. I was so zoned out, very emotional, because even though I'd processed this over the 3 years, it all come flooded back, and I would say I'm still processing it to this day. I'm still coming to terms with it. There's things that I'm learning even now, because I don't have all the answers, because I'm diagnosed.
When was the actual diagnosis? I know not NHS, but the private one.
October.
So you're talking
21st of October. And then I went
4 months.
Yeah, but I went straight into my son's birthday, busy Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's only been January now that I've been able to go, shit, this is real.
Yeah.
This is happening. And I'm such an advocate for it, but at the same time, I struggle to place myself.
Yeah.
Because I don't seem to struggle.
Yeah, I think we've touched on this before, that people might be surprised
at what goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
In the background. Yeah.
But also, I suppose you could say this about anyone, but like, when people
this is why it's hard.
Yeah, when people think it's of a business, they see like the finished product
They're
on
like,
social
you're
media.
so good at this, you
Yeah,
do
like,
this, you're
but
so on the ball.
they
and I'm
don't
like,
realise what takes to get that and things like that. So Yeah, I think I do. This is why I wanted you to share your story, because I know different people that hearing a positive perspective of it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everything that you're saying is positive, and I know the struggles that you've had, but like you do have a successful business.
Yep. I am
And
a
I
positive person.
100% believe that is because the way your brain works.
Because I always need to fix it. I need a
Yeah.
solution. This has got to be better. We can't accept that this is it. Like, I can't accept that this is how it is. I can't feel it. I cannot stay in that feeling. I need to feel better.
Yeah.
It's the dopamine. It's the, I need something that's feeding me that feels like good.
You've accomplished something.
Yeah.
So, how has you knowing now, like having a diagnosis, reframed like work, home life in general?
So hard because it's changed nothing, but it's changed everything. I think I have just completely slowed down. And like I said, the way I talk to myself, I am less explosive.
Do you still talk to yourself in a negative way, but like, can you put a stop to it quicker? You know what
So
I mean?
I recognise it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
recognise
yeah.
that it's not me.
Mhm.
And sometimes I need to sit with it. Like, I give myself the time that I didn't give myself time before. Like, I didn't give it to myself before. I take days where I like to call them a buffer day, whereas before I would tell myself that I was lazy, I was shit, I wasn't up to much, I
So
wasn't worth it.
I've noticed a shift in something that you do as well. So with clients, we usually meet at the start of the year to be like, what's your plans for 2026? Obviously, Kay's one of our clients, so we do that. And usually Kay will come to me and be like, right, I need to do this, 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 this. And it's, I can't even think of what you've done before, but something.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this time in January, just a month ago, you were like, I'm not doing anything in the business.
No, I need to take
I
time.
need to just take time. So you said that you just wanted to take a step back.
Yeah, just spend time with myself, process things, take things a little slower, be kinder to myself, and it's in doing that, it's making me better mum, a better wife, better at business. My business is taking over as it does because I need it to. With me taking time in the background. Now, this is why we do what we did, and this is why I came to you in the first place, is because when I have those bad moments or those bad periods, which used to come a lot more often because I didn't understand what I was up against, we needed it to tick over like nobody knew. Because I used to just go off the face of the earth, remember, and carry it over, so be like nothing's happening. In the background. And that's where it started.
Yeah, lockdown was definitely one of those.
Yeah, that's where it became quite bad, but I never forgot again. No,
we're just speaking about how it's now you're a bit clearer and how it's reflected.
Yeah, and it's just made me. This is quite a sad thing to say, and I hope I don't get upset when I say it, but I used to think that I was quite a horrible person because I was always told that because of the misunderstanding of how I deliver things or what they don't understand what my intentions are, but my intentions are good. If they were bad, I would tell you they were bad. I would say it, you would know it. You wouldn't have to question it. So I was always led to believe that I was a bit of a shit person, shit daughter, shit, all of this. And now I know for sure that I am fucking not.
No, you're definitely not.
No, I'm a good person, so it helps solidify that. It helps me advocate for myself better and stand up for myself better, and it helps me with confidence when it comes to doing my job.
That was literally the answer to what I was going to ask you. Like, what do you wish you understood about yourself earlier? And obviously, it's that. And see, at the end of the day, the fact that you're able to say that, you cannot put a price tag on that.
No.
Having that diagnosis, even if the NHS, whatever happens with that, you now know yourself.
I believe in time, and I believe that even if I wanted to, it wasn't available to me. Do you know what I mean? Younger. So I believe in time, and I believe that this is the right time for me to know all this, even though it's bittersweet. But I take like comfort in knowing that even if I really wanted to, it wasn't available. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So on this podcast, I really want to put a focus on like the messy middle. So we just had a chat with another guest about like how I feel like as business owners you're always in a messy middle. It's just a different mess.
Yeah.
But how hard has it been for you, like the messy middle for you, with ADHD? Like, what do you wish people knew more about that? I feel like online especially, that's a side of you people really won't.
No, like how much it takes to show up.
Yeah.
Like how, like even today, what it took for me to show up and have washed hair and a nice outfit. Like I will always show up and that's what you'll see, but you will not have an idea of what goes on in the background.
No.
And I guess I'm probably guilty for not showing that side, but I don't know how to show that side. It's a very vulnerable side, and now I feel like if I start showing it, it feels like I'm putting it on, you know? Whereas it's something that I've always done, I've just never made it public or made it known to people how I operate.
Yeah. So you mentioned that burnout was how you sort of went down to get the diagnosis right. What does burnout, overwhelm, shutdown look for you before you know how your brain works?
Overly emotional, overly angry, overly irritable, couldn't get off the couch for days, sometimes weeks. Nothing would get done. My husband would have to do everything. I would always look after my son. I'd always make sure he had what he wanted, but everything else would just fit on the back burner, and I was so zoned out. Like people talk about brain fog, and I mean that times 100. And I didn't know how to get back because the whole time I would sit stuck in this frozen state. I couldn't even think of what the next steps were to do. I don't know how to get out of it, or I would know that there's certain things that I can do, but I just couldn't bring myself to do them. It's so hard to explain. Like it's like an absolute freeze. And now those moments happen, but they only last a day or an afternoon, whereas they used to last weeks, and that would then have a knock-on effect of my mental health, anxiety, depression, all while still running a business. And because I find it so hard to let people down, because in my life, that's all I've known to a certain extent. And I don't want to say that in a woe is me kind of way. Like I've handled it. I shouldn't have had to, but I've handled it. But I cannot bear the thought of someone feeling like I've let them down. So when it comes to my weddings and appointment-based systems, I will show up even if I'm feeling like that and you'll not know. You'll not have a clue.
I think that's why you're very good at in business at setting boundaries and policies and stuff and sticking to them.
Yeah.
Because you would never do it to anyone else.
I would never let someone else down. And I always think that's a fact, and we both know it as adults, so let's not worry around that. But yeah, like I don't agree with hiding those things, but I would go into my work, and like Rachel, who I work with, has seen me many a times in an absolute state, in tears, and I go into the toilet and I come out like a different person. It's like a switch, and it's actually quite scary when you think about it, but I would never put that on my clients, and in those moments, working got me out of it. Clients got me out of it. Hearing what they're going through, or hearing their stories, or just chatting to them, they made me feel good. They made me feel better, and that's why I love what I do, because it's like I'm in a chat and nobody gets word in, but it's because I get such a buzz from it. It could drain me as well, but in a good way. It helps me gain perspective, and having the clients that I do and being as busy as I am, and the returning clients that I have, that's the reassurance that I know I'm doing something right, because I'll convince myself that I'm terrible at this, even this far in, but I look at that and think, well, I must be doing something right.
Yeah. I think obviously it's not, like you've said, you're not sure how to show that online, and I don't think business owners need to do that all the time.
No.
Obviously it's up to you what you put online, but what I do think anyone that's listening or watching this needs to realise that small business, and I'm talking like micro small, like me and you, small businesses, we are literally people.
There's
so
life happening.
There is a life happening, and just because this is our business and we've created for ourselves, it doesn't mean that there's just rainbows and unicorns dancing behind us. Like I've had a couple like years ago, a flipping shit show in my personal life. I had to get up, go to my work, show up for clients, had to get married, like yeah. And looking back now, I'm like, maybe should have delayed that, but we got there.
And stuff.
But I mean, it was about me and Chris, nobody else, so we got there. But what I mean is, you wouldn't know that you've just got to be, people are people, and it's not Tesco and we're showing up because we don't want to let you down. So I think that gets forgotten a lot. And especially if you're very good at showing up online, people sometimes think you're bigger than what you are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They do. And like, they think that you think you're above a certain thing because you show up online, but you have no idea what it takes to actually do that.
No.
Like, it doesn't come naturally to me.
No.
I have to really push it. I'm going against everything in my brain telling me, like, who cares? Why are you doing that? But I know that my clients want to see it. Like, I have honest, really deep conversations with all my clients, and I've opened up about all of this to a lot of them.
From like my point of view, working with Kay, like a lot of the time we did just have to I had to keep stuff going. I actually remember, this is quite a funny thing, I don't know why it sticks in my head, but it was lockdown, it was Nick Grimshaw on BBC Radio 1, and he was saying that like they were running out of content.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you joking? The BBC is running out of content. Like, how I kept you in Fern's Camps going.
Yeah. Because I was just like, Danny, I don't know what to give you, but you're going to do something.
Yeah, we done it. And
you should come out with all this content.
And then it came back, you went back and you had the most success. Like,
I was busier than I'd ever been.
Yeah.
Because we took advantage of staying
consistent
online, because all these businesses around me stopped.
Yeah.
And we kept going. So for that whole time, we were in people's faces. And I was
so as soon as they were able to book, they wanted to book. Yeah. So that actually goes on to the next section, really.
What? I reminds me, I haven't cried.
Proud of you too. What do you think, or how do you think ADHD is a good thing for your business? Like, making you good at what you do?
I don't know how to be anything but honest, trustworthy, loyal, and like, the thing is about it is, as much as ADHD people say slack on it, you can also hyper focus to the point that becomes your whole life. So like, the details are so important. The details are so important. I feel like it gives me almost wired to the moon drive like to get it done. Power. Yeah, that term, some people get quite offended by it. I don't mind, but there is you can tap into that sort of fast brain, which I think is kind of like in lieu. So the time that I've spent buffering, I've got the day and it just gets it done. Do you know what I mean? But someone would do that over 3 days. Yeah.
I think you're a very practical thinker as well, whereas
logical, practical.
I'm not. So
you're not.
Well, like,
you are for me.
I am. I can make sense of stuff, but when stuff's getting like, someone's saying to me, it takes me a while to be like, how would I actually do that? Like the pillow story in Debenhams. So I had to do.
I can't believe you're putting this on here. I try not to make you feel like that by bringing that up.
No, so basically I had to.
Oh, that was an easy mistake.
Right, and it was like the pillows had to lie like on top of each other in this display. But when Kay was telling me, I was just picturing in my head pillows balancing, do you know, like up. And and then.
No, not even like.
The pillow would be like there
like
on the shelf, whereas it was meant to be like pillow. And I kept trying to do it, and I was like, "Why isn't this working?"
I remember.
Kay was like looking at me like, "What?" So I think you are quite like a logical, whereas I'm not. My mum's always like, "You've got loads of brains and no common sense." And sometimes
I have tons of common sense and brains. Like,
so I feel. I do from now, obviously, with your diagnosis stuff, but like from when I worked with you, even in Debenhams, like you were very like good at telling me how to do stuff in like a practical way.
Yeah, because that's how I need you to tell me it.
Yeah.
That's how I need you to give me that instruction. I do that with my son.
Yeah. You are very like, you do focus on the detail. And I think your beauty, obviously treatments, wetted and makeup and stuff, that's things that you pay attention to detail to it.
So it's like, my psychiatrist had said to me like about just how my past life has affected me, and the not letting people down is a huge part of that. And even though I have ADHD and it can have negative, it will never ever affect my work. That is a non-negotiable. Just like it will never affect my son. It will never affect my work, because the way I see it is my work keeps my roof over my son's head and the food on the table. So that is a complete non-negotiable. That's how simple it is for me. It's work, home. And I know that people want bigger things, But for me, that was the big thing. What I've got now was my big thing. I couldn't see past that because that was my ultimate goal, was to have what I have right now.
Yeah.
So that's why I find that all of those things, not just the ADHD, like she actually mentioned to me that because I have all three, technically I shouldn't be functioning the way I do, but because I have all three, each one complements the other. Or if I'm in a negative space with one, the strengths out the other pull me out.
Yeah. I was going to say you are quite a like fight or flight, like you're a
It's
fighter.
like a cycle of
yeah.
what one you're going to get. Do you know what I mean? But I'll never stay in that place for too long.
Yeah, definitely. Do you, obviously you've spoke about like how it's made things harder, so like you wouldn't be able to get up for weeks and stuff like that. Running a business, and I think people want to know about this, obviously showing up for your clients is a non-negotiable. I think that's probably the easy bit because you can't let them down, which you've said. That's the easy bit. What's not the easy bit is like making decisions, admin, emails, content, deadlines like that. Like
deadlines.
Yeah.
Just full stop.
How do you manage that? Like maybe now you're doing it differently. Like I've seen a difference where you're being like,
number one, you.
Yeah. But even there's only so much I can do to help you, so I do need input at some point.
I don't rely heavily on you, even though I do periodically. I would say sometimes I need you just to push me a wee bit. But no, it's just I have learned that future me will always be grateful for past me's actions. So it's like trying to prevent the burnout and the breakdown. So it's like, what little things can I do now that can make my life easier?
Yeah, like you're always doing something to make it 1% better.
But I've only been able to recognise that through doing business for so many years and learning the pattern and the times that we should be doing this, or what did I do that last year? When did I do that last year? I'm behind if I've not done it this year. So it's helped me create like a calendar where I live off my work diary, like completely live off my work diary. That is my personal diary, work diary, everything is in there. So if it's not in there, it's not happening. So it's just, I've created systems that really work with me and really help me stick to a deadline. And it's that feeling of, like, I can convince myself if I don't meet a deadline or I let myself down when it comes to meeting those deadlines, that it's all going to go away. I can convince myself that if I do this again, what's the point? What's the point in getting this far and only letting it get this far? So it's the aftermath of not doing it is so unbearable that I cannot let it happen.
Yeah, and I think you've worked a lot on your mindset, as in when we first started working together, you were very focused on like vanity metrics.
Likes.
Yeah, which is very ironic because that's something that I've never really focused on, but I've worked for you to be like, I actually remember us having this conversation, right, Kay, what do you want? Do you want a business or do you want to be an influencer?
And there's such a fine line between it, but it's like, I knew that, like, for me, like I said, my ultimate goal, this is where I was like, it's just to live comfortably and have time. Be at home and be a mum, but be comfortable, but still do something that's...
Now, you can be an influencer as such and do that, but for what we were built at that time, we were trying to get clients through your door.
It's not right for me.
No.
I can't.
And you would struggle to show up as much.
So I was putting pressure on to do both.
Yeah, and we had to realise that isn't... I would always say to you as well, okay, that maybe you've only got 2,000 followers, whatever it was, but you got money in the bank though. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I would always push back.
And that is how to talk to me, because that's what matters most. And obviously now, what I was trying to do then is what we have to do. It's like showing up for my business and creating a brand and personality online. Like, I want to be personal, but I really struggle to... It takes so much to be... Because I don't know how to hold back. Do you know what I mean? I only know how to give that raw as it comes. I don't know how to hold back.
So somebody with ADHD, if they're listening, they might not own a business, they might own a business. What's one thing, like, I don't know, either a boundary system, something that you do that has really helped your day-to-day life? So you've said you've went from going from weeks to not being able to get off the couch to it just being an afternoon or a day, what's changed that?
The internal validation. So it's like how you speak to yourself. So it's what can you do for yourself? Because everything will benefit. Everything in your life will benefit from it. So what can you do for yourself to change that inner dialogue of how you talk to yourself, or like even when you're feeling like you're failing or you're lazy or you're not enough, like you need to sort of unpack what's going on.
And obviously that didn't happen overnight. It's not like just...
No, it's been a long...
Is it like journaling?
Lockdown. Yeah, I would say journaling, meditation, just slowing down. You see those reels of remembering how you don't have to do everything so fast.
Yeah, like typing like that.
Or drop your shoulders.
Yeah, like remove your tongue from the top of your mouth.
It's a great visual
Yeah.
how I've been doing this for a
like
year and a
brushing
half.
your teeth, like
The year and a half that I promised myself that I would stop drinking Coke Zero. That was a treat.
Yeah.
Stop drinking Coke Zero 4 times a day and try to slow down and be kinder to myself. And journaling, meditation. And I know that is all quite voodoo and it's so hard to do, especially if you can't sit still. But finding a way that it works for you, breath work, all that sort of stuff, it's like really deep diving on that inside stuff.
I think with journaling, it is something that, like, I find it beneficial, but I'm not the type of person that does it every day. But if I feel anxious or I feel like something's bothering me, if I write it down...
Yeah, because I read it back and I'm like, did I write that?
Yeah. And I always take my journal to therapy too, and so I'm very bad at going like, how are you, Danny? And I'll go, yeah, fine, how are you? When it's like, well, all this around is. And then, so what
it's just a pattern that you follow.
Yeah, right? I felt it more beneficial to be like, I actually can't remember how I've been. Let me look at my journal. Then I'll read that out to her, and then my therapist is, okay, let's pick apart that. So I feel like when you see online, journaling really helps you. You don't need to be waking up every day writing the same thing over and over again. If you feel like you just need to get something out your head, just write it down.
It's so hard because you can say journaling and you can say meditation and you can say be intentional and stuff like that, but if your brain is not allowing you to do that, it's like there's so many external factors. If your brain is not allowing you to do it, like it's then being kind to yourself with that too.
Something you just need to be.
Yeah, it's like accept that what's happening. If you know that you've got ADHD or you're neurodivergent in any way, and you know that how it affects you and you're understanding it, it's like you need to get on level with that, because if you fight against it, it'll never work. You will be frozen for days.
Yeah, that's again leading on really well. So obviously with other guests I've spoke about switching off from being a business owner. I go through phases. Sometimes I'm really good at it, other times I'm wired, like but I know you can struggle with it as well. So how hard is it for you to switch off mentally and physically?
I don't, which is my honest answer. I like to think I do, but I don't, because me sitting down and watching a programme means doing admin. Do you know what I mean? But that is, I'm comfortable doing that. My brain can hack that. That's the thing. That is planning ahead, doing those little micro jobs that I'll think about later. Like, I'm comfortable doing that. But spas, facials, like, I love them. They're the only things that will really make me switch off. But
even when you're getting like a facial, does your brain switch off?
My brain doesn't switch off, but my body relaxes, which then my brain relaxes with it. Do you know what I mean? It depends what one goes first, but if my body relaxes first, my brain, it's like, oh, this feels good. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually really... It's like the realisation of, this is relaxing. Yeah. And so I'm commentating it all in my head, but I'm then very grateful for that feeling, because I don't get it often. So I like spas and facials and
acting as well. That was something.
Which was a huge thing. So it's getting outside even when I don't want to. Yeah, so that's another thing. I don't want to let them down.
Yeah, it's facial iron on you.
Yeah, so it gets me fresh air, and my brain is going 100 miles an hour. But you know how your ideas come to you in the shower, mine will come to me when walking as well. And then I'll forget them when I get home, but they'll come back.
Yeah,
but
I think it is important to find rest that actually works for you. So if you feel like you are resting as such, watching something, but you're also kind of replying to emails,
as long as I'm alone. I have to spend a lot of time alone. So I work 3 days, sometimes 4 days a week, and those other 3-4 days I need to be alone, at least 2 of them, to sort of get back to charging my battery the way it was before I go back into it. And I also think when you were saying about like relaxing and boundaries and things like that, my time outside of work is so valuable. So it's like I'm driven to get all this stuff done before my son gets home from school. I'm driven to do this before my hubby's like back from work and sitting down watching a programme.
Yeah.
There's a certain cut off of night for me that I've learned that if I work in it, it causes great anxiety and I can't go to bed. So I have mastered like the morning routine and the evening routine, and it doesn't look like your 5 a.m. club thing. It's like staying in a space for an hour with coffee. like that's productive for me. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I manage it and how I relax and restore.
Do you feel like you've had to unlearn a lot of expectations about like productivity, morning routines, and time routine?
Yeah. And I used to think it was everyone else putting those things on me, but it was me.
Yes.
Because it doesn't come naturally to me to do it the way everyone else does it, and I didn't know that, so I had to learn that not being so busy and doing things all the time. Like I used to work, do the salon work, do the gardening, do all my cleaning, and my cleaning is unhinged, so my garden would be the same. So I'd be cutting the grass, doing the weeding, like jet washing everything, jet washing bins, cleaning the windows, like cleaning the carpets, as well as working, as well as being a mum. And I've learned that I don't need to do that. I can hire someone.
Yeah. Like spend. Yeah. 100%. We were kind of like that as well. Like we used to get to a Saturday and I'd be like making the house.
Right.
And it's just no.
So I would set these expectations and then I couldn't be consistent with them. So I would set a standard and couldn't be consistent with it. So then I would get raging and let's stay then. I'm happy. He still does. Gets the absolute worst of it. I mean, I'm nothing like what I used to be. But yeah, he's had some shit off me over the years. But I recognise that now, and he knows I recognise that now when we've spoke about it whilst I was in getting my assessment and stuff. So yeah, it's like setting these unrealistic expectations and no longer do that. And I'm okay with sitting staring into space because that's what I need in that moment in time.
Yeah. What is one thing about running a business that suits your brain and one thing that drives you mad?
Structure and structure. Routine and routine.
Yeah, I get that because it is really good having the flexibility, but then other times you just want somebody to tell you what to do.
Yeah. I can't stand it because, like,
to be fair, a lot of people have said similar.
Yeah.
As that. What would you do differently if you were to start again, knowing what you know now?
I don't think so. Like the thing with getting this diagnosis and me processing that, it's making me feel very vulnerable, and it can really affect my confidence. Ironically, it's giving me more confidence, but it's because I'm already in this position. I actually think it would prevent me from making decisions, and I would maybe use things and people as a crutch and like lean into something, because the stigma around that is you're not capable, right?
Yeah, that's why I think it's so important for you to be like sharing your story, because
it's not true.
So many people might have already had a diagnosis and would like to pursue like a business or whatever,
because they're externally told they're not capable. And
yeah,
it's like
or they're consuming content from like different business owners that make them feel like the way they do things isn't right and stuff like that.
And I have to say, not everyone's like me. There will be people that face different challenges, and you know their brain works against them a lot more. I have learned strong coping mechanisms, and that's why I've got to where I've got to. I just always used to have this saying in my head, and I learnt it because growing up to about 16, I was always kind of, I don't know why I was led to believe or who led me to believe it, but that I wouldn't amount to much or nothing would come of me, and I believed that. And then I would do something, I'd set my mind to it, and then I would achieve it. And then the same again. And then the same again from a very young age, like doing that skill seeker thing, that 32 hours a week for £2.50. Sure, I got paid £346.50 a month for 32 hours a week. And that was a lot of money. Yeah. So I was like, this is great. I've always taught myself through like actual evidence of I can do whatever I put my mind to. Whatever I set my mind to. As long as you give yourself like a real personal driven reason for it, if it's not true, then it'll not work. You know, if it's not true to yourself, there needs to be a real reason, like your why, basically. What's your why? And once you get that, what's the reason? And mine was to create a better life. Yeah. To rewrite what was set out for me.
What are you most proud of? Like, business-wise?
The fact I've done it. The fact that I've done it. I'm doing it. I'm still shocked. Aren't you?
No, because I, like, believe in what you do, but...
So do I, but there's always that niggle in the back. This wasn't meant for me. This wasn't supposed to happen for me. Do you know what I mean? Statistically, this isn't supposed to happen for me.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that I had that realization, you know, learning that I'm dealing with those 3 conditions, 1, 2 diagnosed, that how the hell have I done this?
Yeah, you should be proud of yourself.
So it's like I'm seeing, or I've realised what people outside are seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people choose to just not see it, but I've always wondered why people have looked at me a certain way or spoke to me in a certain way about business and about, like, you know, being really like complimentary about it and really, or they'll say, oh, that's dead inspiring, and I'm a bit confused by it. But actually, that's helped me see what other people see,
I also
which
think
is
you're a really good
hard.
example of it is really hard showing up as a business owner, but when you have such a strong why, it becomes a lot easier because and
non-negotiable.
and that's why when I'm like, if I am working with businesses, I'm like, right, why are you doing this? What are you getting out of this? Yeah, so let's go back.
I mean, that's great, and that
yeah,
is the goal.
We need money to survive, but you need to have a strong why, and yours is obviously like your family. This.
Yeah.
So how do you manage being a mum, wife, and running a business? Dog mum.
Boundaries.
Yeah, you are very good at boundaries.
Like structure, boundaries. Yeah, because I've done business long enough to know where I need to set them.
Mm-hmm.
I've done business long enough to know where I need to set the boundaries, and like my boundaries change, but as my son grows up, because my routine changes. So my business fits me now. I'm in a good position to take it in my direction, not go where it leads me.
Yeah.
And that could mean not going for the next big thing or
what you started to do.
Yeah, like just slowing down. Like I'm content, which is a big thing to say. I'm content. I don't feel like I need to be the best this or be that. I'm happy where I'm at because it's so cheesy and cliche to say, but I've achieved everything I set out to achieve. And I know that's so small to some people, but remember, I never ever thought I would be doing this.
So I think that was something I was going to ask you. Has your diagnosis changed how you see success? But I mean, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think you've always thought that success was what you've got.
Yeah, I kind of think I always looked at what other people had, and obviously I've learned from watching other people, like observing other people, and I've learned what's the next thing to do, what do they do, how do I do that, because I don't actually know, do it. And I've lived alone since a very young age, so I've not had the guidance to do the right thing. So watching the moves that everyone else makes, I then think I need to take that on. So I think this is helping me recognise that everything that I see, majority of the stuff that I see isn't right for me. I need to figure out what's right for me. And I can be inspired by other people that are in business that deal with these things. But that still doesn't necessarily mean it's right for me. So it's just putting it like break on, trying to keep up with everyone else.
Yeah.
And just tunnel vision what's right for me in that moment.
I do see you doing more of that. What would you say to anyone who's neurodivergent, business owner or not, that's struggling right now?
It's so hard, it's so vulnerable. That gets better. Just try and find the drive, like dig deep to try and find that. The me that struggled is the me that got me here today. So it's like, I know it's so horrible to say just try, but figure out that what's going to make it a non-negotiable and try.
Yeah. And if anybody was like, we'll kind of touch on this, considering self-employment, but they don't think they fit the mould, would you tell them to go for it?
Yeah, because I didn't believe that I fit the mould, but it's whatever you set your mind to do, really. Like all that doubt that you've been convinced of isn't true. So whatever you set your mind to, you can do.
Yeah.
And if you know that you're up against these things, like there's ways around it. There's so many ways around it, and you just need to figure out what way is for you. It's not just a straight road.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, quick fire round. First thing comes to your head.
Oh God.
Right. Dream collab.
Oh, I don't know. This question scares me because collabs scare me. In what sense? See, right. This is why it doesn't work for me.
It's like
I need to know more.
Do their makeup, work on a project. Like, whose wedding would you want to do?
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I knew you would say that. One word that sums up your business journey so far.
Fucking chaotic.
Exclamation mark.
Organised chaos.
But that would be your book.
Hey,
Like
organised
that.
chaos. Yeah.
Plan B job.
What if I wasn't doing this?
Mhm.
Working for you.
Yeah.
I've always said that.
Yeah, you have actually.
I'm like, Danny, I'm coming on for you.
Yeah, you would be good.
I know I would, okay? If it fails, I'm coming.
Yeah, you're coming. Okay, at the end, I let guests ask me a question. Do you have a question you'd like to ask me?
What's the one underrated content tip that every business should know for a friend?
So I think if you're struggling with your content, it's cheesy and people are going to roll their eyes when I say
And
this.
you're not doing it right if you're not cringing.
Yeah, and no, do you know what? The tip that I've known since uni and I would still say now, if you do not feel like you're repeating yourself, you're not doing it right.
I think about this all the time.
If you do not feel like you've said it a million times and you can't hear it when you're going to sleep at night, you're not doing it right.
I've still not read it.
Yeah, so keep going, keep posting.
I can agree with that. Yeah, I can vouch for that. Okay, the second one that I want to ask is a bit more personal.
Mhm.
Has there been a client story that reminded you of why you do what you do?
Yeah, not even just because you're sitting here. Yeah, I genuinely have seen you at lots of different stages. I've talked to you out of Spiral. I've picked up stuff. Yeah.
Serial message of WhatsApp, like it's like a sentence per message, is it?
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
And then even the day when you came into Starbucks and you were like, I've got something to tell you, I was just like,
Proud.
yeah, I was just like,
I think I've got ADHD.
okay, we'll just work with that. I'm really proud of what you built, only because I know at the very start you didn't think this is what you were going to build,
Yeah.
and the family life that you have created for yourself. And do you know what? I was thinking about it when you were speaking. See, when I see you do stuff with Meach and Mason and you go to all your Christmas traditions and stuff like that, it's mental because you've won an award and you've done loads of things like business wise. That seeing you do those traditions and different things is what I'm most proud that I've helped you achieve, because I know you never got that's something you always wanted to do. Yeah, but and people would maybe are expecting me to say, oh, she won, what was it, bridal?
Yeah, bridal makeup artist.
Yeah,
Central,
and
yeah.
that was amazing, obviously, but no, that is what I'm most proud of, because at the end of the day, that's your why.
Mm-hmm.
So
That was the ultimate goal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on.
For having me, I think.
I will add all Kay's profiles in the episode description, and you can follow her if you want to know what it's like. Yeah.
I'm trying to get over a certain number. Well,
oh, it's close.
It's very close.
But yeah, she does. Obviously, you do post makeup and stuff, content, but you are pretty good at showing your personality too.
Yeah, lifestyle stuff. Yeah,
and if you
the
like
good
Taylor
side
Swift,
of the personality,
Beyonce, then
if you don't,
you found
you're
your
still
girl. Yeah, thank you so much. I really, really, really do believe that will be inspiring and help a lot of people.
I mean, I'm going to die when it goes out, but I know it feels right. It's the only podcast I haven't cancelled.
Woohoo! Look at us go.